Mon parangui. J'ai du mal à imaginer. Il n'est pas fini avec les filles, c'est les garçons qui... Ah.
Everybody, how you doing today? I just thought I'd let you know everybody's been asking me since I'm in Kenya. Are you scared? What's going on in Kenya? Well, let me give you a little bit of information. But hey, I don't know really what's going on because this is not my house, right? I have to be careful because you have to know what you're talking about. So I'm gonna get some supportive information. Now, Kenya kicked out the vice president. The president, Ruto, he kicked out the vice president about 5 months ago or something like that. And that was because they came under some misunderstanding, I guess, according to what they say.
In line with the powers given to me by Article 1521 and 1525B of the Constitution and Sections 12 of the Office of the Attorney General's Act, decided to dismiss with immediate effect all the Cabinet Secretaries and Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya, of the Cabinet of Kenya.
But just recently, with this with the demonstration, the young people, these young people are not playing. They are not playing. They're not playing. They are tired. 1 out of 10 people that graduate from the university get a job over here. Can you imagine being promised all your life, get good grades, go to school, learn your lessons, do this, do that, and your studies, and you work really hard, get that diploma, walk off stage and find out you can't get work, you can't go to work. Here you at the time of your life, you would like to go to work, you would like to be able to enjoy your life, you like to be able to give back to your parents that had given to you, and they're expecting it. You're ashamed. You're ashamed because you can't get a job. Well, these young people are fed up, and you would be too. So I'm just letting you know, they're not trying to kill anybody. They're not trying to destroy anybody. They just want what's theirs and what's been promised. If you've been promised that, wouldn't you be mad? Wouldn't you get angry? Wouldn't you want to fight and fuss? Wouldn't you want to do something about it? Can you see you did 4 years of college or maybe more and worked real hard? And I'm here in Africa. If you mess around, they don't put up with you like they do in the United States. You can't get no D and stay in school. You got to work. You had to get your grades. And then when you're in grade school, they'll beat your butt if you don't do your homework. So these kids have been promised and they've been told and they worked hard to get their education, only to get up at the end and find out 1 out of 10 of them get a job. They get promised and it won't happen to you. It happens to other people, but it won't happen to you. So they wake up with this dream. Well, they're tired of dreaming. They want the reality. And I'm going to let you listen to what this man has to say because I can't say it. They had a demonstration on the 25th of June. And that demonstration has a lot of questions because you're getting it reported all kinds of ways. And I can't tell it out of my mouth because I'm not involved in it. I don't know what's going on. But I'm going to let you listen to a news clip that was done of the vice president, the one that President Rudolph kicked to the curb. He's being grilled by this news commentator. but there's a part in it that you got to hear.
Now, in the aftermath of the June 25th protests on Wednesday that left more than 15 Kenyans dead, hundreds others injured, and millions in property damage, questions are swirling about who is truly responsible for the chaos that gripped the nation. Now, the government calls it an attempted coup. The streets call it a revolution. And somewhere in the middle is my guest tonight, the man many have accused of fueling the fire, the former deputy president and now DCP party leader, Rigathi Gachagua. Mr. Gachagua, good evening, and thank you for joining us on the broadcast today.
Evening, Michelle, and once more, most welcome to my home. And I'm very happy that you've given me an opportunity to engage the people of Kenya so that we can have a discussion on issues affecting our country and how we proceed from here as a nation.
All right. We have several people fronting themselves as alternative leaders or for alternative leadership in the country. You had the retired Chief Justice David Maraga saying that he's positioning himself as the Gen Z candidate. You've also been speaking the Gen Z language, but which one of these candidates, you included, is actually listening to the Gen Z? Are you really listening or just using them, riding on the wave?
The Gen Z are very bright people. They are marvelous young people. I have such tremendous respect for them. You know, they know who they can trust in this country. The Gen Z know at their lowest moment when they were being killed and massacred by William Ruto and Kithure Kindiki, when everybody was demonizing them, when William Ruto was calling them criminals, who came to stand for them? It was Rigathi Gachagua. I sacrificed my job as deputy president, a very good job with the parks, with security, with all obedience, you know, and I said, I want to start with these children. And I attracted the wrath of William Ruto for starting with these young people. It's these young people, the Gen Z, who will look at the whole political landscape and will decide where they want to place their trust. And I think they are intelligent enough to know what they want to do. I don't want to force myself on the Gen Z. All the time I'm being accused of funding them or financing them, you know. And what has happened is that the Gen Z have appreciated me and accepted me because I'm always being accused of being their leader, of being the one who is financing them, who is doing this and that. But all I have done is stand with them and stand for them, and I'll continue to do so. And I'm sorry, I'm told that they have taken away the security of Chief Justice David Maraga because of appearing to support the Gen Zs. That is how petty this administration is. That is Kipchumba Murkomen. If somebody is seen in the streets, except, you know, it's democracy. Going to show solidarity with the Gen Zs is part of our democracy. Now, taking away the security of David Maraga because he was in the streets, you know, it is a lot of, it's pettiness. It's very petty, you know. It's unacceptable, I must tell you, Michelle.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't know they were charging them with a coup. How can you have a coup and you don't have a gun? You got sticks. They didn't even have sticks in their hand. They had nothing. They had absolutely nothing, and 15 or more people died. I'm telling you, you had to listen. But these young people in here in Africa, I don't care whether they're in Nigeria, I don't care whether they're in Botswana, Namibia, Zambia, Malawi, Maui. I don't care where they are. It doesn't make any difference. Tanzania, every place, they're tired. Sudan, they are tired of what's going on. They want to make a change. And that's one of the things that they're starting to unite with no leader. They're getting together and making up their mind. They're not being led. They're stepping out there. They are stepping out there. They have worked hard. They've had hope. They have dreams. They have expectation. And I'm not picking on Kenya. I love Kenya. I'm not picking on Kenya. But I'm telling you, this is happening all over Africa. All over Africa. Not only Africa, it's happening in Jamaica. It's happening in Haiti. It's happening in every place. Let me see, what's the other country? It's happening in Brazil. It's happening in Ecuador. It's happening in Costa Rica. They might not be rioting, they might not be protesting, but they're tired of not having the best when they've made the best out of their lives. They've studied, they worked hard, they're entrepreneurs. They want something besides hamburger money. They want choices. They want a nice home. They want families. You have a lot of young, frustrated men and women going around here that would like to have a family, but they don't start it because they don't have the money. They don't want to bring more family in when they don't have the money. They're frustrated. So listen to this man talk and see what you think about the whole situation. Africa is rising. Africa is rising. And you can't stop it now. All right? Hey, this is Janelle, and you're watching Africa Speak.